Hey guys, welcome back to another gun build. Today's video, we'll be going over one of the most overlooked guns in all of Warzone, the AUG. The AUG has a potential to be one of the most versatile SMGs in the entire game. I will show you guys how to make this gun feel like one of the best SMGs in the game that excels in the close to medium range, but if you wanted to, you could even make it feel like an extremely accurate AR that can laser from basically any range. I will go over that and more in this video, but before we get into it, this video helps you out in any way, shape, or form, make sure you slam that like button, and also subscribe to the channel for more gun builds in the very near future. I just want to give you guys a huge thank you for all the support on the last few videos. We are so close to 700 subscribers, and I honestly can't believe it. I'm so happy that so many of you are finding these builds useful and really enjoy them at the moment. Also, if you would like to catch me live, make sure you head on over to my Twitch channel and shoot me a follow there. We mostly play Warzone and other shooters at the moment. It'd be awesome to see you guys there. But for now, let's get right into it. Heading over to the gunsmith to check out the muzzles, guys. The Monolithic Suppressor will always be the best muzzle for about 90% of the gun builds in Warzone. It just offers so much value that the majority of the other muzzles simply don't. The sound suppression is key to keep your position as hidden as possible, as well as making it so you do not alert other players and teams in your general area. As most of you know, third parties are a very real thing in Warzone, and most PRs for that matter, so it is imperative to be as sneaky as possible. The next benefit you get from this muzzle is the damage range, which is one of the best stats for any gun in Warzone. Mostly because of how large the map truly is, especially because the AUG is an SMG, and it doesn't really have the best range as it is anyways. You can really make the AUG feel like an AR if you would like to, but we'll get into that a little bit later on in the build. Keep in mind that you will lose ADS speed with a suppressor, but it is absolutely worth the trade-off you receive. Next up, we will be moving over to the Underbarrel attachment. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I really enjoy the Ranger Foregrip and the Commando Foregrip. This one is no different. I personally think the Ranger Foregrip helps the gun perform slightly better than the Commando Foregrip. Although both are very similar in the way they make the gun perform, I just think the Ranger makes the gun feel a little bit more consistent for me personally. For the Ranger Foregrip, you will receive recoil control, which basically helps control the horizontal or side-to-side recoil that this gun has. With most SMGs and high fire rate weapons, this is an extremely valuable stat that should not be overlooked. You also receive aiming stability, but that really only matters when using a sniper rifle or firing at targets from a very long range. You will again lose some ADS speed with this attachment, but as with the Monolithic Suppressor, it is 100% worth the trade-off. You will also lose aim walking movement speed, which isn't super noticeable with this build given the next few attachments we will be using. Next up, we will be moving over to the ammunition slot. This one is pretty straightforward given most of my other builds, and how a lot of other players prefer to play Warzone. We're going to up slapping on a 60 round drum mag on this bad boy. I mean, look how badass it looks. With this drum mag, you will no longer be firing those measly 9mm rounds, but you will have 60 AR rounds at your disposal. But it does come at a cost. Even though you do receive a damage buff in range, and obviously the extra bullets, this thing will really have a negative impact on your movement as well as recoil control. Once again, you will lose ADS speed, but this thing is meant to be a medium range SMG anyways. It's really up to you on what you want to run as a secondary. I personally prefer a long range AR as my secondary, so you can cover the short to medium range with the AUG, and then medium to long range with the AR. Make no mistake, this gun does really well in the short range, but you might get outclassed by an MP5 or an MP7 that has a very fast ADS speed. So that is worth keeping in mind with this build. Next up, we'll be sliding over to the laser attachment. We end up going with the fan favorite, the Tac Laser. This one just makes way too much sense given all the other attachments on the gun. The previous three attachments all have a negative impact on the ADS speed of this gun. With this attachment, you will receive a large bump in ADS speed, aim stability, and of course, aim walk steadiness. If you are unfamiliar with aim walk steadiness, it basically means how much stability you have while ADSing and walking at the same time, which is obviously a very common thing while playing Warzone. There aren't too many times where players will be standing completely still in a gunfight and firing bullets at each other. Last but not least, we move over to the barrel attachment. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, and there's a reason why I saved it for last. So for me personally, I prefer the 407 extended barrel because you don't sacrifice as much mobility as the other two barrels. You also get another bump in damage, which is so important given how large the map is in Warzone. You also get bullet velocity, which is also another incredibly valuable stat. Bullet velocity is how fast your bullets travel to your target, and it goes hand in hand with the damage range increase. You will not need to lead your shot nearly as much when firing on a target that is a few hundred meters out and running across an open field. You will also receive recoil control, which will help you with your vertical recoil. This will really help offset some of the loss in recoil control that you end up losing when picking up the 60 round drum mag. Once again, you will lose ADS speed, so try and pair this gun with an SMG or an AR that has a quick ADS speed. Now, you also have another option here. You could try out the 622mm long barrel and 100% commit to the long range and AR feel. With the 407 extended, the gun is basically a mid-range SMG/AR hybrid type gun, and it can sometimes excel in the short range, but with the 622mm long barrel, it will turn this thing into 100% in AR. But with this barrel, you will lose a ton of mobility, and it makes the gun feel very sluggish, but it is up for you to decide if the trade-off is worth it, and what kind of playstyle you would really like to use. As always, I would recommend trying them both out for yourself, and see what you prefer more. The AUG is such an amazing weapon in this year's Call of Duty because of how many different playstyles it really can cater to. I truly believe that this gun is the most versatile gun in the game, and I really wish I would have tried it out sooner. That is going to conclude my AUG gun guide for this week's video, guys. If you stayed this far, I really appreciate you watching the entire video, and I hope that helped in some way, shape, or form. Make sure you do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in future gun builds, because there will be a whole lot more coming in the very, very near future. If you have any suggestions on future videos, or if I missed something, or if you would change something in this build, please let me know in the comment section below. I'm always looking to better my content that I provide, and I'm dedicated on giving you guys 100% accurate information and suggestions. Also, if you are interested in seeing me live, or have any questions about gun builds, or want some recommendations, then please don't hesitate to shoot me a follow on Twitch. As of right now, I am streaming 6 days a week. I'm mostly playing Warzone. It'd be awesome to see some new faces and have a chat sometime. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all in the next one. Much love. Have a great day.